Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm your sister Naomi Saif. How are you? Inshallah, everyone is well, considering the climate, considering politics and everything that's going on locally, nationally, internationally. SubhanAllah, so I've been on YouTube off and on for a decade. And I want to start revisiting some old videos. I want to I want to see if the topics are still relevant. I want to reflect. I want to see if I agree or if my opinions have changed on some of the things that I have covered or gone through. Some of my videos, especially 10 years ago, don't have a lot of views, and they still may not have a lot of views. So for anyone that has been subscribed to the channel, you may not even know that I've had some of these conversations, or maybe you did. Some of the quality, especially on these old school lives back in the Hangouts days, quality was terrible. One of my videos that I'm going to, inshallah, go over maybe tomorrow, the day after, the quality was so staticky, like I almost have to go back and translate what was really going on. So today, I wanted to go over this one. I at first was thinking about doing some type of like reaction video, but I'm not even gonna go through the whole thing, maybe a few snippets. But during this time, I'm gonna play it just a little bit.
Assalamu alaikum.
So during this time, there was a YouTube trend of sisters sharing their birth story. And even though at the time my youngest was 2, I decided to go and give my birth stories of all 5 of my children. And at that time, I gave a little bit of advice and I had a little bit of reflection. And so now I wanted to add to that. Let's see a little bit of what I say.
I'm Naomi Saif, and today I wanted to talk about my birthing stories. I have 5, and I wanted to share some advice, some things that I've learned um, in parenting and just being a mom in the 17 and some change years that I have been a mom. Alhamdulillah. So, YouTube and the internet, alhamdulillah, is it's a blessing. It can be a bad thing, but alhamdulillah, it can be something good, the internet. A blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I think of all the things that we can now just go on YouTube or go on the internet and we can get information about, anything, everything. And I think back to, when I had my first child or even my second and third child, and we weren't connected like that. So I didn't have the option of going online and looking up other people's experiences and getting advice like what we have now. Alhamdulillah, it is a beautiful thing that now women can come online and they can kind of like record their whole pregnancy. Some of them upload the births. Some of them take you on this journey, and Alhamdulillah, it's just a beautiful thing. And I've learned, I've learned a lot of things by watching those videos. I've learned, things that I made mistakes on, so getting to the point of why I'm doing my story is to kind of, again, give you my birthing experiences, but also talk about some things that, a lot of women aren't talking about, So if you are a young sister out there and you're pregnant, maybe.
So, alhamdulillah, I want to reflect now and say that the things that I felt And I'll mind you, maybe my perspective isn't fair because I'm not on Instagram, I'm not on Twitter, I'm not on anything. I'm in real life and YouTube, but I think it's safe to say that I don't think people are being as transparent and as honest to what parenting really is, the ugly parts, the struggles, because it's just too personal. I don't think it's supposed to be out there, but at the same time, I don't think the perfect image that's even worse now today than it was back then, I don't think that's supposed to be out there either. So one thing that I would say is I no longer agree with what I said about, yeah, the internet can be a good place. And maybe me saying that I learned some things was me being around, me finding online like-minded women who wanted to be home, who wanted to, who were able to be home, subhanAllah, even if having part-time jobs, women who wanted to put their families first, whether they had a job or not, whether they were going to school or not, because at this time I was going to school. And so that maybe validated, made me feel like I am not wasting my time being at home, being a wife, and tending to my family and being there for my family while also doing my studies and going to school, but not making that top priority. Because my opinion has changed in the sense of there is not, you're not learning more in 10 years now in 2024. Everyone is too much the same. What was really going on 10 years ago, what really, when I was younger, it was evident if you had wisdom, if you had wise people around you, if you had access to your mom, your grandmother, your aunties as far as motherhood, it was clear. It was clear if you had nobody that was there to guide you. Now it's clear, but I think that it's still now we deny it more because people are more ignorant. Access to each other's stories has not made us smarter, wiser. For some of us, maybe validated us, maybe created some communities. But for the people that don't have the knowledge, and I don't think it did anything. I don't think it did more good than bad. I believe it made us more arrogant. I believe it made us more cocky. And one proof of that, and I'm going to say this in, if it upsets, it shouldn't, is the gender reveal. When I recorded this video, the gender reveal did not exist. Wasn't a thing, wasn't invented, wasn't thought of, not that I know of. I had never heard of it. I had never had one. I had never seen any type of gender reveal party to the extent that what it is now. And I remember when I first started to hear about it, it was obvious to me that this was a marketing thing. This was like capitalism. And so the first time I heard of a gender reveal party, I thought it was a joke. I'm like, what? So I think that it's just made us, I just think it just made us get further away from our families and more on, I don't know. I don't know. We're just, so anyways, so let me see if I say anything else that
Maybe it's your first child, maybe you're nervous, maybe whatever, just know that everyone's story is different. Everyone's pregnancy is different. I have 5 kids. All pregnancies were different. It doesn't have to be drastically different, but, we're talking about people, humans, so.
Okay. And one thing that I'll say is 10 years ago and prior, birthing stories, and I'm not saying it's not the case today. Birthing stories were different. They were, your water broke while you were driving. You went into labor in the middle of the night. Some people had the baby at home on the way to the hospital. But it seems more and more it's the same two stories. And I'm not judging anyone, I'm not knocking anybody. It's just the same two stories. The one story is you get pregnant, you're convinced that you cannot take the pain, you're convinced that your body cannot push a baby out, and you have been talked into a C-section, period. You've never experienced a contraction in your life. Your water bag has never broken. You've never felt it. You've never felt it. And you have that. You're still a mother. You still love your child. I'm just talking about the birth story. You either have that or you have the mom who goes to the hospital, usually young, usually first or second, nervous. And the first things that we're doing is trying to find ways to ease the pain and trying to find ways to alleviate this process. There is no longer a mentality of epidurals and medications are last resort, like last resort. And I'm not knocking because I'm going to go through my birthing experiences really quick. And there was one when I gave birth, when I went in to have my daughter, I walked into the hospital looking for the anesthesiologist. I was like, this child is not going to come out. No, I don't. So I'm not judging. And because now the stories are becoming a little bit, I don't know. I'm kind of sad. I'm just kind of sad that some birthing story, a lot of things that were unique and different are now becoming a little bit too carbon copied and too, I don't know. That's just how I feel, if it makes any sense. Forgive me if it doesn't. So real quick, I have 5 children. My first birthing experience was an epidural attempt. I had an epidural attempt, and which resulted in a spinal headache. And the spinal headache is, I think it's called a post-limbar puncture. So, back in the day, my oldest son is 27 years old. Is he 28? SubhanAllah. And they put a long needle back in the day. They put a long needle up your back and you had to sit still. And the doctor could not wait. I had a contraction and he punctured me. He had to pull it out. And for 4 months, I had a headache so bad I couldn't stand up. I had to go back and have what was called a blood patch done. We don't talk about that. My, alhamdulillah, survived. My son, everyone was healthy, alhamdulillah. He was 6 pounds and 12 ounces. So because I had that experience and it was so traumatic, when I had my second son, I was like, don't come near me with no needles. I do not want an IV. I was even in a birthing pool. This was back in the day when the insurance for low income families was a little bit better. And subhanAllah, I was able to be in a birthing pool with a midwife. But my son, I'm not going to say my son, I wouldn't dilate. And I needed a little bit of inducement. And after 10 hours of labor, alhamdulillah, my son was born. SubhanAllah, he was born with the cord wrapped around his throat twice. So that was a thing. And he was 7 pounds and 9 ounces. So now with my second son, there was an incident where I had gone to the ER and for something, Braxton Hicks, I believe. And I thought I was in labor. And when I had an ultrasound, the nurse had told me that my baby looked very skinny. And I was like, what? So I started to eat. When I was younger, I was really petite. I was between 90 and 100 pounds. When I gave birth to my second son, I think I was like 120. So I was aware that, I'm petite and I just didn't want my baby to suffer. So I started to eat a lot. He came out healthy weight, good weight, 7'9". And so fast forward now, I'm on my third child. My third child, because as soon as I found that I was pregnant, I didn't want to I had that in my head. I didn't want to have a skinny baby. I didn't want to hurt my baby. So I was eating when I wasn't even hungry. And my baby was large. I knew she was big. So I went into the hospital looking for the epidural anesthesiologist. And subhanAllah, looking back now, had I known then what I knew now, I wouldn't have gotten the epidural. But alhamdulillah, we survived. She survived. She was 8 pounds and 15 ounces. So she was 8 pounds and 15 ounces. SubhanAllah, the epidural took away so much of my ability to participate in the labor process that my daughter was stuck. And to this day, she has like a little mark. And I needed help pushing her out because the epidural deaded me. I was like pushing, but there was nothing going on. So now for baby number 4, I at this time I'm 28. I'm a little older. I'm a little bit more mature. But I overate again. I just, it's fat babies, they tell you that that's a good thing. And subhanAllah, with him, I got so uncomfortable. I went into the emergency room. They scheduled me a C-section, and my son was 8 pounds. No, I'm sorry. My son was 9 pounds and 10 ounces. Alhamdulillah. So now I have these babies, and, you know, when I look now at women who are pregnant, I see a lot, and it's a beautiful thing. I see a lot of photo shoots. I see all the glamour. But I think that we should be more humble with our pregnancies. I'm not judging. I took pictures, but I just hope that while we are announcing to the world and we're so excited that we are in preparation to give up our lives and to give up our bodies for 2 to 3 years minimum in order to give that baby what it needs. Because once the baby comes, that's when it starts. That's when it gets real. So I'm going to play a little bit of what I was feeling. Let's see.
Keeping the baby in an environment where they know that they are the priority. Also, do not rush your child in reaching milestones. Okay, like I grew up with this, having all these kids in different stages of my life. The baby's 3 months old, and they're like, "Oh my God, my baby's talking." Oh my God, my baby's 6 months old and I'm potty training them. Oh my God, my baby is 1 and they're reading. Don't do that. Don't rush your child. Don't rush your child, because oftentimes when we do that, we actually delay milestones. We actually delay certain things, Sometimes if you force your child to potty train too early, they will be bedwetters. It's just don't rush your child. You know what I mean?
So that I still agree with that. Don't rush your child, because I rushed mine. I introduced solids to my children too early, which resulted in them getting sick, getting constipated. I rushed potty training sometimes, which resulted sometimes in accidents and them thinking they did something wrong and just getting confused. And I think that we need to keep it simple. Keep it simple. Don't compete with the baby for the time. There's no need to rush when it comes to these milestones. And alhamdulillah, I'm so happy for you if you have a 6-month-old that it's reading. Who cares? I'm more concerned if they're 12 and can keep up with the reading at their level. You know what I mean? Like in the United States, they say that the average American child, 70% of American children are not reading at their grade level. These are K through 8th graders. Maybe it applies to the high schoolers. I don't know. So subhanAllah, I'm just praying that, and this is my advice, let the babies be babies. That is time for bonding. Meet them where they are. If they happen to start crawling, a little bit earlier than expected, that's fine. Definitely don't hold them back, but let them be babies, nurture them, celebrate their milestones. But I promise you, it doesn't get real until they get older, because everyone, alhamdulillah, everyone is just so impressed with the first steps. And yes, those are special, happy moments. but we don't care as far as the rest of the world, really. All we care about is, can you please raise your children so when they grow up, they aren't bad influences or have you behavior problems or have issues because you neglected them, because once the cute phase was over, we went on and gave them a tablet, gave them a phone, dropped them off at daycare, and we are no longer concerned about them anymore. You know, the genius, everyone's a genius. I always tell my friends, and even tell my kids now, everyone's a genius up until 7th grade. Okay. And I'm not knocking, but subhanAllah, let's have some humility, subhanAllah, and nothing wrong with enjoying being a parent, but keep it simple. Keep it simple. Also, I would say to try to be home, try to stay home. Don't take your baby out. Don't, again, from, I believe the first, especially 2 years and under, just keep it simple. Do not go out a lot. Do not have a lot of visitors. Do not force your baby to be held. Do not leave your baby if you can't, if you can help it. The baby must be the top priority. And what else? I have some notes here. I think I had one more thing I wanted to, and then I'm going to close out. Maybe two. We'll see.
You have babies, keep it so simple. Like I would even suggest, if unless you absolutely have to, of course things come up. I wouldn't even travel. I wouldn't even travel for the first year. My baby is a year. My baby's 2 years now. Like I like being in the house. You know, going to the store can be like a huge event. Imagine having a little bitty baby that you're nursing in 3 months. And
okay, so I still agree with that. I also wanted to go over this about people who have opinions. So being a mother for over 25 years, I have heard a lot of opinions. I've heard a lot of opinions.
Something. It's always something.
And let's see.
Again, another thing. Do not judge others. Okay? Astaghfirullah. Astaghfirullah. Like, do not judge others. If you don't have children, please just don't say nothing, because the day will come when you have kids and everything that you said is going to be thrown at you. Don't look at someone's situation and say, why is that baby 3 years old and still has a pacifier? Why is that baby 2 years old and still has a bottle? Just, you know what? Just mind your business. Just mind your business, because I was guilty of that. I thought that, oh no, oh, what's this? Oh, what is, woo. And no, I had a nice dose of my own medicine,
I definitely still agree with that. Mind your business, unless it's some type of abuse, unless it's some type of something serious. Do not judge. Another thing I do not like, and this is why during this time, I was looking for advice, especially from Muslims. I'm sorry, we are a little bit too conservative and we're a little bit too perfect. So that's why I want to go and I want to share not dirt, not drama, but some realness. So I just lost my train of thought. But so okay. So a lot of people have judgment, right? And now remember, I used to, even to this day, don't let someone have one child or two child and maybe they're 12 and alhamdulillah, Allah has made them easy, and now they want to give everyone, they want to give everybody parenting advice. They are perfect. They got it together. And if there's anything wrong with your child, it is you. You are the strict one. Me, I steer clear. I don't take advice from anyone. I take no parenting advice from anyone unless I know their children, unless I know the background, which is very few people. Maybe I can count on one hand and not even use all my fingers. So that's the advice I'm going to give to you sisters. Trust your instinct. Make baby the priority. Get advice from people whom you see the results, not perfection. Because the thing that you're going to need as a parent, you're going to need some type of guidance and some type of help along this parental walk of how to get through some stuff. Now, how to make your child look perfect, how to get through some stuff, how to keep your faith, how to be there for your child when they may be lost, feel lost, you're lost, how to survive, how to get through the storms of parenthood. So I'm going to close out, and inshallah, like I said, I'm going to do a few more on this topic here. I just want to remind us that our children, we are, I'm looking here, because I said this in the video, don't merely take care of a child. That will be a burden. Your kids, please don't make them a liability on other people. You're giving them tablets, you're getting them out your face, and then now the teacher got to deal with them, the community got to deal with them. They don't have people skills, they don't know how to make friends, they're intimidated by people, they don't know how to, if they don't have a phone, they're lost. If, subhanAllah, our job is to teach and train our children. These are not little people that we're supposed to just enable, make comfortable, and just be roommates with. Yes, you enjoy them, which is why you have 18 years, okay? Yes, you enjoy them. Yes, you love on them, but don't lose sight of the whole purpose of this. The whole purpose is for you to teach them, for you to prepare them with each step. And, in Islam, we have the 3 stages of parenting. We have the rights of children. So definitely make sure that if you are a new parent or you are like myself, you need a revision, that you are educated in that. So let me see. I think there's one more. Just trust your instincts, dear sisters. Being a mother, being a parent is not rocket science. It's really simple, but it's deep. The depth that it takes is internal. The depth that it takes is spiritual. And you make it easier on yourself if you just submit to it. If you just go with the flow with it while they're little, and that you do not lose sight of your position. You are a teacher. You're a nurturer. You're a teacher. Don't let the dunya teach your child. Don't let the dunya. I'm not a perfect parent and I don't judge, but I'm going to say something. I'm going to just say me. I never had social media. I never had social media. I never had, the internet was not apparent in my home. I have never bought my child a cell phone. Alhamdulillah. I have 5 children. My children have had, my older children had their first phone when they were like 17, 18, when they got it on their own. No, I don't even have TVs in my house. I have a projector. Like, subhanAllah, we have a good time. We have family night, but don't get it twisted. I'm here to nurture you. I'm here to teach you. I'm here to prepare you. I'm here to help pick you up when you fall. I'm here to enjoy you. But subhanAllah, I'm here to be your mother, okay? I'm here to be your mother so that when you grow up from my daughter, you know how to be a mother yourself. You know what to look for as far as my husband and expectations and what to look qualities for a man. Same thing for my son. You know, you've been mothered. I'm not perfect. I'm not saying you have to marry women like me, but you know what it's like to be mothered. And so when you get a woman, you have a wife, you can look at the qualities to decide, do you think she's going to be a good mother? So inshallah, I would love to, if there's enough sisters, I would love to do a live. I would love to have a conversation to see if I'm alone in this. But I'm going to stop sharing. And inshallah, I can drop another video tomorrow. And it'll be another topic in regards to parenting. And inshallah, we can get the conversation going, because now I'm a grandma too. Now I'm a abuela. So you can't tell me nothing. You can't tell me nothing. I'm just playing. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.